Hey, good evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I think I'm going to get started on our presentation for tonight. We're here to talk about, well, first of all, my name is Sarah Hansen, and I am the project manager for this project for Clark County Public Works. And this is for the Northeast 152nd Avenue project. We're doing improvements between Patton Parkway and 99th Street, northeast Langdon. So welcome. First of all, we're going to let you know that we are recording this meeting. And so those of you who are here attending virtually, thank you very much. You have the ability to ask a question in the chat function, and we will be monitoring that. We are going to ask you to hold all of your questions until the end, and we'll do a Q&A for the room and for the online participants at the end after I get through the slides and everything. If that makes sense. So we have a lot of county staff here tonight. Thank you all for coming up. I'm going to have all the county staff raise your hands so that you'll know if you want to ask us questions afterwards. Come and find one of us. We usually have these little name tags on too. A couple people I don't have on this slide are Joe Connor, who's our stormwater drainage engineer for the project, and David Jardine is our traffic engineering section manager. We have a big group here tonight, so thank you all. Everybody is very knowledgeable about this project, so we're happy to help. All right, I'm going to start off with why are we doing this project? This first appeared in the county has a 20-year capital facilities plan, and this first appeared in that plan in 2016. We also have a 6-year transportation improvement plan or program, and this project appeared within that program in 2018 for the first time, currently ranked as priority number 4. That ranking is based on several different criteria, including safety and mobility. We are currently adopting the new version of the TIP, so I would encourage you, if you're interested, to get involved in that process, and you can find it on the Clark County website, of course. The main reason that this project has come into existence is because of development and growth. Our 2022 traffic counts were 8,500 to 12,000 vehicles a day, which was a 78% increase over the last 20 years. And of course, our 20-year projection for traffic counts increases that number up to 14,000 to 21,000 vehicles per day. So this would lead to some problems with the pavement. Obviously, I don't know if you were aware, but the pavement that's out there now is probably 25 years old and had its last major pavement work in 2001. Also, there's concern that we would start to see delays at the intersection of 99th Street. So with those projected traffic levels. So we were trying to keep everything flowing as time passes on. Additional reasons for this project is for safety. Currently, this road does not meet our infrastructure standards for its road classification. We're adding the left turn lanes to reduce backups and conflicts at 99th Street, and we're adding a left turn lane at York Elementary School, of course, as well. We want to provide the multimodal access along the whole corridor and at the intersections with the major intersections and everywhere along the corridor. And this is a major network connectivity project for the north-south traffic patterns, especially for areas to the north. We are just generally in favor of increasing our system reliability and transit access and freight movement as well. So these are some of the criteria that get evaluated when projects are ranked within the TIP. Okay, I just have a map of the location in case you don't know. Here we are in the sort of northeast part of the Vancouver area, and our project is about 3/4 of a mile long. This doesn't really show, but we do have some work that should be a blue line, a short blue line on 99th right there too. Okay, so as an overview, our roadway classification for this section of Northeast 152nd is known as a C2B. That means it's a 2-lane collector, and it should have continuous bike lanes and sidewalks. The classification defines the number of lanes, the minimum lane widths, and it establishes, of course, that we need to have the bike lanes and sidewalks. So we are adding a left turn lane at the North School entrance, which is right there. Haley, you can click my little animation if you want to be fancy. And we are adding 2 new pedestrian crossings with flashing beacons along this corridor as well. And one of them is at 85th Street. I'm going to click it. And one of them is at the school, a little bit south of where the current pedestrian crossing is. And of course, we have our new traffic signal going in up here at 99th Street with left turn lane and protected turn arrows on all 4 legs of the intersection, as well as new crosswalks. So another thing we are adding as an improvement for this segment of the road is stormwater collection and treatment. Right now, there's kind of a hodgepodge of old stormwater collection systems out there, and we're gonna upgrade that and add some pre-treatment to it. New inlets, new pipes, and some what's called infiltration trenches to collect the stormwater and treat it as well. We are adding curb ramps and sidewalks that are compliant with the Americans with Disability Acts where necessary. So we're trying to keep as many of those as we can where they are compliant as they are now and where they're in like a workable location. We're also working with the city of Vancouver to add a new water pipeline, which is going to be an upgrade for their pipe network. I believe it's for helping with pressure problems in their pipe network. That's what, as far as I understand. The existing water main is not changing. It's going to remain in service, so there's no anticipated interruptions to any of your or anyone's really city water service along here. The new pipeline is only for transmission, and it'll connect to their existing network, but that's what it's for. And then as far as the schedule, we are currently set to advertise the project in mid-March of 2025. And we intend for our contractor to start construction in June 2025 and continue for approximately 17 to 18 months until December 2026. We're not planning on any winter shutdowns. And during the construction duration, portions of 152nd Avenue will be closed with the primary traffic detour on Northeast 137th Avenue, which is west of our project, about a mile or so. We're going to have local traffic allowed into this and out of the into and out of nearby neighborhoods throughout the project, but you may only, if you live here along the project, you may only have access out to the north at times, or you may only have access out to the south at times, and the other portion of the road maybe is because the other portion of the road is closed. So we're going to talk more about local traffic handling plans here later on in a little bit. Whoops. I just have a couple pictures of what it looks like out there now. If you're not familiar, we have sections where there's no sidewalk, or there's obviously sidewalk on one side but not the other side maybe. And the lane widths and the shoulder widths are varying, and as well as the striping. We have inconsistent curves and ADA ramps, and there's like random grass growing in this shoulder over here. This is the crosswalk at York Elementary, which can't hardly see. So it doesn't have any lighting. That's all going to be part of our improvements. Okay, I have some diagrams showing what an infiltration trench is. This is a cross section of an infiltration trench. You could think of it sort of as a really big French drain, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's 6 to 10 feet wide, and the trench is 10 to 13 feet deep in total. And then there's a 6-foot section of sort of coarse gravel backfill to allow for storage of the stormwater. It allows time for the water to infiltrate, but ultimately into the groundwater, and it gets treated naturally as it does that. On the right over here, I have a clip of just our roadway plan from at the intersection with 99th Street. So we're adding a section of new sidewalk here and reconstructing some ramps and things here as well. And you can see where we have infiltration trenches on all 4 segments of our roadway. I thought we were going to have a full set of plans here tonight, but they are posted on our website if you want to see more detailed drawings. They're available. Or you can just ask later on. Email me later or something. This is a cross-section of our 2-lane collector. As you know, this defines the minimum right-of-way width of 60 feet. In places where we have no turn lane, and where we have a turn lane, it has to be a 70-foot minimum. So we have had to, this project has required some right-of-way acquisitions, but they're all very close to being complete now, fortunately. So it's been a long process, but if you want more information on how that process works, I guess, we have 2 staff from our Real Property Services group, Jen, Daniel, and Chelsea Noyes are both here. You can ask them a little bit, ask them questions afterwards if you want to know more. Of course. And let's see. In a few places, we actually had more right of way than we needed because of development that took place before this road was classified as a C2B. So we have 2 11-foot lanes, 2 6-foot bike lanes, and 2 5-foot sidewalks continuously. And wherever possible, we've put this 4-foot planting strip in between the road and the bike lane for extra separation and visibility for turning vehicles especially. Okay, we're going to talk about the closure and traffic detours for a little while. The traffic routing during construction has basically 2 components. One is the larger detour for through traffic, and then there's a different method for handling local traffic. Local traffic means all necessary access to residents and businesses within the neighborhoods that are directly adjacent to the project area. So there's going to be signing at both ends of Northeast 152nd, saying like at Haddon and at 99th Street, saying road closed, local traffic only throughout the duration of the work. And so this is intended to route all the non-local traffic onto the Northeast 137th Avenue detour. And so that road has a higher classification with, I think it might have a center turn lane, I can't remember. But it has wider lanes and we don't have any worries about it handling the extra traffic for this project, thankfully. We have that available. So I have a bunch of graphics for how we're going to phase this work. We are basically, this is kind of a busy slide, I apologize. Okay. We'll look a little closer at it, but okay, so for work along 152nd Avenue, we are using work zones, and only one work zone at a time will be fully closed. So when work is happening in each zone, access from the side streets within that zone is going to be closed, and any residents or businesses within that zone that require access directly onto 152nd are going to be directly coordinating with the county construction manager. Within each of these zones, we are requiring our contractor to complete the major work, like major excavation, backfill, and initial paving before they can reopen that zone to traffic and close the next one. So if your driveway enters directly onto 152nd, it's still going to be fully accessible to you, your mail delivery, your garbage truck delivery people, etc. But whenever there is not active deep excavation or pipe installation happening right in front of the driveway. So I have a little, the first work zone we're planning on we're requiring our contractor to start at the first work zone in front of York Elementary School. And we are requiring them to basically to finish that work while school is not in session, so that we don't have issues. The school we've been working with the school for a while now on how to make this schedule work and get the work done that we need to in front of their school. So there's no other driveways in front of that section, fortunately. So we're trying to, with these restrictions we're putting on the contractor, we're trying to use these to minimize impacts to your daily lives as much as physically possible and still keep everything safe and keep the project duration. Hopefully, it's still going to be kind of long, but we're hoping that it won't be too long. Because restricting them like this so we all have access makes it a little bit longer, but not too bad. Okay, well, I already talked about our first work zone. This is a close-up of that and a little bit more detail. So all the access from 91st Street on both sides is closed at the very beginning of the project. And from 93rd Street is closed, but 94th Street is open and 85th Street down here is also open. This is a big subdivision. So if you live down here, you're going to be affected if you need to get out and go north. The most easiest way to do that would probably be to go out to 162nd Avenue here and go north. Otherwise, I think people can get out and go north and then go over to 137th and go south to Patton. That's the way that this one would work. There's, like I said, no driveways directly accessing 152nd in that section. The next work zone is I don't know for sure. This is the thing. We have sort of set up our schedule with assuming that we know it's feasible for them to work in this order, but we're not going to require our contractor to do these work zones in this order necessarily. They can choose to work in a different order if it provides efficiencies for them. We don't want to put like excessive restrictions on their schedule. Typically, it can lead to higher costs and things like that. But there's we will know their schedule at least a month in advance, though, so we'll be able to coordinate and keep everyone informed as much as we possibly can as things are progressing. We're showing it in this order tonight, but it very well may not be that order, the order the work is done in. But we do know, like I said, the section in front of the school is first. So anyway, for this section going down 152nd, whoops, the 91st Street intersection is opened back up, but this one down here gets closed down. So this subdivision, once again, it may work better if you need to go south to, this time it's the south direction that's affected, to go out to 162nd and go south to Ward Road / Patton. But going north will be pretty straightforward. This is, once school is in session again and you need to drop off kids at school, that's the main reason for why we phased it this way. That's one of the main reasons, not the main reason, but it's definitely up there. Anyway, this subdivision down here, if you live out here, you may need to go out to 142nd if you want to go north, or over to 137th. There's a light, I think both of those have a light on 99th. So there are some driveways as well as the U-Park storage business that directly enter onto 152nd in this zone. So the plan for providing access across the excavations that are required is to use a trench box and large steel plates to sort of create a temporary bridge over any trenches. So this method is used frequently for large construction vehicles, and it will definitely support passenger vehicles. we are planning to be able to provide several weeks of notice before this has to happen, and we intend that it shouldn't last more than 1 week for each affected driveway. Also, there are several residential properties on 87th Street right here. That's a private road, and these property owners, there's a couple of options for how to handle this access onto 87th Street. Either you can coordinate with our construction manager individually as the other driveway property owners will need to, or it may be possible if these, I think there's maybe 5 property owners here. You may be able to enter into a third-party agreement with the contractor to build like a temporary access onto this portion of 87th Street over here that's public. I don't know if any of those folks are here tonight, but hopefully you know your neighbors if you want to do that option. Okay. This next work zone is the one closest to Patton, potentially next, I guess I should say. All access from 91st and from 85th and 86th open back up. So things are pretty straightforward to get to the north. But if you want to go south from this subdivision, you'll still be going out 262nd, most likely to get out to Patton. Or I suppose you could take this roundabout way to get out here to 137. The people who live in these neighborhoods are going to want to pay attention to our website, and hopefully we will be on top of the communication. Our plan is to be as on top of this communication as we can to keep you all informed as things progress. So then we jump back up to the north side of the school after that, potentially next, I should say. Once again, this access is open and all of this down here is normal. But if you need to get out from here, this area up on the northeast quadrant, you could say 96th Street is closed, 94th Street is closed here. So you may need, if you want to go north from this area, you would want to go out here to that road. I don't remember what that road is. Can't remember. 57. Or 262nd. Once again, so this is fairly straightforward, but there are, I think, what's that? Okay, we're going to hold questions till the end. There are 5 residential driveways that directly access 152nd in this work zone, and there's also 1 residential driveway on 96th Street that is affected by this work. So you'll be closely coordinating once again with our construction manager during that work zone work. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have our traffic signal itself and the intersection work at 99th Street. There's this whole traffic signal here. There is infiltration trench, which is, like I said, about a 13-foot depth excavation. And of course, the rest of the roadway being completely reconstructed with new base course and new asphalt, the full width of both of those roads. I think it's a couple hundred feet on each of the 4 legs of that intersection. So this is a short time. We're estimating it would be 12 weeks out of the entire 18 months. I think it was 10 or 12 weeks. This isn't only for traffic signal work, like I said, but anyway, the detour is not going to be fun for this portion of the work for those of you who live to the north. And I know that there are some of you here tonight. So we will, like I said, be trying to keep everyone informed as much as possible of when it's all reopened up again. Okay, I have a little bit more information now that we finally got through all the detour information. There's a lot there. Basically, I wanted to let everyone know we have the environmental impacts, the environmental permitting for this project has been completed and issued to us. We have had a very straightforward process in that regard. We had a categorical exclusion signed by the state, and there was not too much involvement there, I guess. We're going to be planting some new trees and shrubs to maximize sight distance. Those are going to be a lower vegetation than what's out there now in a lot of places. And the C-Tran has currently 4 bus stops along this corridor. So they requested that get reduced to 3 bus stops, and 2 of them are being combined. They also requested that we add some stops. I don't think they'll be signed yet, but the concrete will be there for future northbound bus routes if and when they expand their network. And we have new what's called intelligent traffic systems infrastructure that's going to connect our new traffic signal to the other traffic signals in the region. There's fiber optic, in other words, going in along the whole corridor that will make that connection between ours and the states, and all of our regional traffic systems are connected to each other, so for timing and everything. And then we have some utility owners, such as Northwest Natural and Lumen and CPU Electric, will be doing some relocation work in the coming months that you might notice. Those are, I don't know when any of them are scheduled to start, but we know that several of them want to get it done before our contractor is out there on site. I also wanted to share some information about the funding for this project. We have 2 large grants providing some funding for us. One is a federal grant from the Surface Transportation Block Grant, $4 million, and one is a state Transportation Improvement Board grant, $3.5 million. So we're very grateful for that. The city of Vancouver is providing almost $2 million for their new water pipeline and sewer extension. It's an extension of their existing sewer line that's about 150 feet long. And the county funds are the remainder of our funding. So that's, all adds up to $12.8 million right now. We don't want that number to go up. Okay, I'm at the end of my slideshow. Thank you very much. And please email me or let me know if you have questions. And I think we're going to move into the Q&A now. So, does anyone have questions? If you do, oh, actually, county staff, can you come up here so that I don't have to run around the room too much with my microphone? If I need you to answer a question, I will come and give you the microphone. Hello, how are you?
I have a question because we will be coming from the east on 99th, coming down 152nd, which is a left turn. And that means that we will have a long wait at the light. And I'm wondering, because I have noticed since they have put the roundabout up north, that there is a lot less traffic. We go to the Y almost every morning, so we go through that frequently.
So are you asking why we didn't choose a roundabout at the intersection, or
I'm asking why to even put a light in there.
Oh, right. The traffic light is essentially, once again, I think it's due to, because of the projected increase in traffic, the number of cars. I don't know if you have more information, Trevor, on why we chose the traffic light here. I know we don't have space for a roundabout.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wait just a second. I gotta get you on the mic.
Yeah, so the intersection, as you know, it's currently to always stop, and it was getting close to capacity with the always stop, and so we evaluated it for either a signal or a roundabout because that's the next enhancement above an always stop. And because there's not enough space for a roundabout, that's why we went with the signal. The signal should operate at a higher capacity than the always stop, so that's why a signal went in.
Understand that.
I want
I
to.
can't understand him.
Okay, he's saying that the number of cars that that intersection currently sees is basically what we would expect to have a four-way stop. It's the maximum number of amount of traffic we would expect a four-way stop to handle before you would start to see delays at the four-way stop. Especially as we are expecting more growth in the area, that is going to get worse over time. I want to say that the proposed traffic signal has left turn arrows for all four legs. So that should help you have like a protected turn to turn left. And I can't remember if it has the flashing yellow. We don't have anybody from signals here. I think it has the flashing yellow that allows you to turn left on a yield essentially. So it shouldn't be typically it shouldn't be a huge increase in your wait time to turn left at that light. But if you see problems with it, we have a customer service function in Public Works. And if you do see problems, I encourage you to I can get you the phone number. You can call it and then leave a comment. We can adjust our traffic signal timing and some other things and see what else we could do to improve our service at that signal. After it's built. Are there any other questions for now? I'll go back here first. Sorry, I'm going to come around the back.
I already brought this up once, but what do I live off 150th and 99th. And I already brought it up to a couple of the people already, but on 99th from 137 for the light it starts at 35 miles an hour. And when you get up to about 142nd, it changes to 40 miles an hour. What do we need to do as a community to get it that 40 miles an hour down to at least 35? Approaching that new light that's coming, because right now getting out on 99th is already a big chore because people are flying through there and they're not doing 40. They're doing a lot more. So what do we need to do, or I need to do, to get that speed limit lowered?
And to get some speed enforcement as well.
Some speed enforcement as well. Well, I think that is that's not currently part of our project, but maybe it's something that we could look at. As far as our overall network for the region. David, do you have any comments on it?
Yeah, so for the speed limit signs, what you can do is you can contact our customer service line. That will get my team engaged, and we'll do speed studies to kind of take a look at what the speeds are in the area to see if we have justification to lower the speed limit or repost a new speed limit. But at that point, we would my team would be in contact with you to let you know how things are going and what we're finding, so that you can understand our justification for why we're doing what we're doing. So reach out to us. It's nothing that you need to do other than contact us and let us know that you'd like us to take a look at the speeds out there, and then that'll engage my team.
If they're enforced on Friday and Saturday nights with its good speed.
To add on to that, if you are noticing speed issues or speeding, please contact our law enforcement. You may not see a presence out there, but what they're doing is they're tracking that those speeding concerns, and it helps them build hotspot maps so that when they are sending their team out to look at specific locations, they're identifying where those hotspots are so that they can justify sending the limited resources that they have out to those areas. So if you're noticing speeding, please contact our law enforcement and indicate what you're doing. But also you can, as a part of that customer service request to look at speeding or this speed limit stuff, that'll engage us as well. And then again, we'll look at, do a speed study out there and take a look at the speeds.
I think you're next. Yes.
Well, I have to, for the web audience,
For the green area that is planned between the streets and the sidewalk, is there maintenance funding set up for that? Because too often we see they're put in and neglected.
That's a good question. Whose responsibility is that maintenance? I think they're, you can't.
I'm not the person in charge of that, but generally speaking, what we tell folks is we have maintenance, we have county maintenance that maintains those areas. However, it is good to note that the sides of roadways and the areas that we maintain are not necessarily maintained to the level of private landscaping. So it's good to know that our maintenance teams are always going to address safety concerns. They're always going to address, there's kind of a hierarchy that they have to follow. So if you see something specific or something that you notice that is a safety concern, again, customer service, and let us know, and we can have somebody check it out.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Actually, Haley, did you say there was an online question?
We have a few online questions, but why don't we take the rest of the questions that are in the room and then we'll
Okay.
move to online.
Okay, put that, okay. Okay, who's next over here? Was he?
Off of the 99th and 152nd intersection, how far will the bike lanes extend north, east, and west?
To the north, I know our project limit is maybe 400 feet or 500 feet, but I don't know if the bike lane goes the whole way. Is it shown on there?
Yeah, it's gonna. We're basically widening just for the turn lanes at the intersection. And so we kind of keep full improvements for that length, which is gonna be a couple hundred feet. And then we start to taper everything back to match into the existing road. So it's gonna be in that 200 to maybe 400 feet. The west leg, probably longer because that frontage was built recently on the south side. So that section will probably have a longer bike lane, but definitely going north and then going east. Within about 200 feet of the intersection, we're going to start to taper the road back down to match the existing. So then we have to drop the bike lanes off. So, another project picks it up in the future.
I'll add, so this is outside of this project, but as development occurs, we require frontage improvements. This roadway is classified as a C2B north of 99th Street. So collector, 2-lane with bike lanes. So as development occurs to the north, if we don't have a capital project to the north that would extend this project north, development as it occurs, when they do the frontage improvements, they'll widen the road to along their frontage, they'll do half-width improvements that would extend the laneage. It would also create an area to extend the bike lanes further to the north as well as it moves north.
I wanted to mention, we also do have I think it's pedestrian and cyclists advisory board that's at the county. You can participate in that, and they're always looking for, they're frequently looking for volunteers to join that process as well. We love to get, we're a public works agency. Let's see, who's next on the questions here? I'll come around here.
Yes, I have a question too. I live right on the corner of 152nd and 96th Street, and will there be marked crosswalks for people I know there's a lot of people in the neighborhood that are walkers and all that, and I think it's going to be more a traffic issue with that light up on the corner of 99th Street. I see people, I live 1 block north of 99th Street, they're already doing 40 to 45 miles an hour past my house. And I think there needs to be a place where people can safely go across the street without having to worry about people stopping. Because most people don't stop, you have to wait for this a break in traffic, so I think that's important. I don't know if that's part of the plan for.
You're talking about crosswalks crossing 152nd or? Yes. Yes, at the, every street that accesses 152nd will have a crosswalk. All I know for a fact that the intersection at 99th Street will have 4 crosswalks. All 4 sides. And does 96 have crosswalks, or I don't know if they're striped as crosswalks, but we have ramps.
Yeah, so legally in Washington State, every leg of every intersection is a legal crosswalk. So like at 96th, all 4 legs, that's a legal crosswalk. There'll be 88 ramps, Americans with Disability Act, handicap ramps, but we only stripe a crosswalk when there's a secondary traffic control. So a stop sign, a signal, or in this case, we've got 2 of the RFBs, which are the pedestrian active flashing beacons. So there'll be a striped crosswalk at 86th. Well, it's the 85th/86th intersection. There'll be one at the school, so that'll be a RFB protected crossing with striping, and then all 4 legs at 99th Street. So those are protected. The other ones are legal crosswalks, but we don't stripe every single one. So when you do those situations, pedestrians yield to traffic. Where if it's the striped crosswalk with the traffic control, whether it's the signal, the light, stop sign, then the cars yield to the pedestrians.
Oh, yes, hi.
My question was about the turn lanes. I know there's going to be a turn lane coming southbound from 99th turning into York. I'm wondering why there isn't a turn lane for northbound traffic turning into York, because most of our students come from the neighborhood to the south of York versus the north of York. Our boundary is at 99th Street. So I'm just wondering about that turn lane decision.
You're asking about why there isn't a right turn lane, in other words, to get into York. I wish I had a drawing of what that intersection looks like. I think if we had, I don't know, David, I think it might be a space issue since there's existing development on the west side.
So in the southbound direction, the turn lane that we're proposing will take the southbound left turners out of the through lanes. And according to some folks that have talked to us here, there are very few coming from north. And I think that you, ma'am, were one of those folks that said that. But the traffic going to the north, what we have to do is we have to look at turn lane permits. That's something that we did, and it's based on volume. And it's based not only on the turning volume, but it's the through movement volume. It didn't meet the warrants. And the
And so every day when I'm out there at bus duty, I see the traffic that.
Let me ask you a question. Is it because the people that are dropping their students off aren't pulling forward enough, or there's not enough room on the York site to get all of the vehicles off of the road?
Combination, there have to be enough space at the site to accommodate.
Okay. And I can't necessarily speak to this, but sometimes there are some right-of-way restrictions, some budget restrictions that where we are trying to maximize what we're doing. as well as trying to justify why we're doing what we're doing. When we look at the right turn lane warrants, based on through volume and right turning, yes, there's an issue with vehicles queuing to turn right into the site. But what's happening, it sounds like, is that there's maybe some circulation deficiencies or space deficiencies on site that's creating this issue in the roadway. So rather than creating this right turn lane that would maybe take a couple of vehicles out of the throughway, but still create that queue, because it didn't meet the warrants, we didn't put that right turn in there. So I totally get what you're saying. Let's see if we can put some vehicles out of the throughway, but because of the deficiencies, circulation on the site, I think that it wouldn't necessarily solve the issue.
Like my kid's school has that same problem. Nobody knows how to drop off in the lane. Okay, I think you're next down back here.
I'm going to hit two at once. I'm going to pick up the York one because the other thing that's changed at York, and I don't know when you did your studies, but we changed when elementary kids arrive and leave the school, and that shifts with the rest of the oncoming and outgoing traffic. And so if it was done a year ago, they were on a different time schedule, which gives you a different backup lead when you decide how the traffic flows. Just for general information, I've lived there 30 years, so I watched it from a cow field forward. So just keeping that in mind. The second thing is, and I did talk to you earlier, but I just going to think, when you do the detours, what about the neighborhood streets that people are going to just jump off to because they don't want to go all the way around, all the way up, all the way over? And we are not blocked off because you blocked a couple other spots, but people are going to come through there to skip going all the way around. And we don't have anything. We don't have any stoplights. We don't have any speed bumps. We don't have any speed signs. We don't even have a thing that says slow down. And so most of our neighbors, we have kids who walk to school, ride their bikes, play outside, and now we have drivers.
Are you, is there a specific location? Okay, this.
No, then it goes a good stretch all the way down the door. There's another.
Yeah. It does, yes.
Yeah.
Right, and I know this was a question that came up at, we had an open house for this project 2 years ago. And that there was going to be like a signed detour down 150th, and that was a big concern, and we've gotten rid of that as part of this project. We're not directing people onto that traffic, onto that route.
Okay, so I want to circle back really quick to the York congestion issue. So part of what that study, or my understanding of that, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but is that peak hours for York, those short spurts of time in the overall picture, the capture of that area, do not warrant adding a right-hand turn lane. We have looked at the design of that area. I've talked extensively with the school. I've talked extensively with the district. Personally, I have. And so there's a couple of things that are changing. So the left-hand turn is really only to address getting traffic through while people are waiting to get in the parking lot. Coming northbound, we are also adjusting the crosswalk, which should hopefully, you're not going to have as many things happening in one area. You're not going to have a parent drop-off line, a crosswalk, and a left-hand turn all in the same location. So just moving that will hopefully help. And also providing those safe routes to school, right? Providing those safe pathways by having continuous sidewalks, continuous bike lanes can alleviate or hopefully give people the flexibility in getting their kids to school and maybe not using the option to drive. I know if you live in the area, you've received those notices, you've received those requests. If you can walk, if you can, find another route and not drive your kid to school, please do. And that comes from the school. So they know that there's a capacity issue. and we can only do so much on a public road, and also balance, what the needs of the overall public are too. So, but I think that we're gonna see, just my personal opinion, I'm not a traffic engineer, but my personal opinion is moving, having some of those additional things not in the same location, right? Having that crosswalk moved away, where only buses are coming in on that side and the kids are crossing down there. I think those things are going to help alleviate some of that. And then, remind me of the other thing. 150. Yeah, so the intent is that if you live or work or go to school along 152nd, you are accessing 152nd. If you do not live or work or access a school along there, you are not driving down 152nd. The intent is that you will use those detours to go around. So the idea that they're gonna have road closure signs at either end of the road, which obviously, there are gonna be some people that can pass those. We're gonna enforce it as best we can. But the intent is if you do not live or work or attend school on 152nd, you are using those major detours to go around it. You are not using, going through the side streets or doing any of that. And there's gonna be closure signs at 99th and at Pat. If that makes sense.
No, that actually makes sense, but it doesn't help. It's
Okay.
actually the problem.
That's, yeah,
That
that's
is
the worst.
That precise issue, the minute people have to get off 137 to come back around, they are going to drop right on 40 miles an hour, which we just brought up. And they're going to come zooming through 150th Avenue because it's a long straight stretch. You can jump off and hit anything much quicker than coming all the way around. We have no signals, we have no signage, we have nothing. We already have the problem now, and you haven't blocked 152nd. And nobody's going to want to go all the way to 137. They can drop through and scoot out.
As far as the neighborhood traffic goes,
It's not just neighborhood, it's everybody.
Get around
They
it.
have to get around and they don't want to do the four-way stop. They
Right.
want to get. So it's a big one.
Okay, so for clarification, I think you're talking about traffic that's coming west on 99th Street and wants to go south on 152nd to get.
No. Well, yeah, either way.
Either way,
They come from both ways. They go down 150th.
Okay, if they're going east, then they can get on, and they're already east of 137th, either way, okay. But they would cut through 150th and come here on 91st and just keep going south. That's a concern for clarification, right? I just want to make sure I understand. So I don't know if you should maybe, I don't know if we with detour plan here.
So we
I don't know.
appreciate,
You wanna talk about it?
we appreciate the official detour, not going down that street.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
But in reality, people are in a hurry, they're late, and they're gonna take the easy way out, and that will be it.
They used to, they're like.
Some people are already
traffic,
doing it.
Four-way is long, like they said, they make that jump before we even started ground maintenance. So we're already doing it. It's
Okay.
just gonna-
So I understand your concern. I guess I don't know if there's something we can do to sign that intersection also with local traffic only, road closed. If that may be warranted in this case, since you're right, it is a tempting detour and we all know that, how that feels.
That's something in New York.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can look at for the local traffic, like you said, for 152nd. I think we mentioned it earlier too. We collected data last year on 150th, and we're planning to do that again during the closure and then after the project, so we can compare it to see what's changing. And then once we have that data, then we can make an informed decision on what we want to do with 150th.
And for the long run, that's great, but during the project, which is now 18 months, we're sitting in that zone. And as people have said, they have kids that go to Europe. They have kids that want to play outside. And if we're waiting for 18 months for us to relook at that project and decide if it warrants something, that's 18 months of risk for a bunch of innocent kids.
Right. No, I'm talking too about during the project too. We were looking at during the project so that we can address it while the project's going as well as long-term after the project is. And so, yeah, we can look at it and do what we can with the resources we have to address it if we see there's something we can do.
Thanks. Are we there, Haley? For online questions, I think is next. Do you want to get the mic? Do you want the mic?
Okay, 2 questions online. The first one was kind of already addressed, but I will read it loud. How is the additional traffic on Northeast 150th Ave going to be handled since it has been opened up north and south traffic has increased and not at the posted sign limit of 25 miles per hour? I've already answered, so. Okay. Did you guys look at adding a sound wall along Northeast 152nd Ave? The road noise is very loud, and I know the other side of the neighborhood has a sound wall.
We are not aware of which other side of the neighborhood has a sound wall or if it's a. Okay.
That would make sense.
The other side.
137th has a sound wall and the speed limit on 137th is
Well, the
higher, but sure.
So if 137th is what they're referring to, I think that's the only other sound wall out there, except for Long Patton. When 137th was built, there was no road there prior to that project. And so the criteria when you're doing a noise analysis is you do noise studies where you measure the decibel level of the surrounding area, and then you model it based on the new roadway improvements. And so typically when you're adding a lane, so if you're going from a 2-lane to a 4-lane roadway, that additional noise because of the higher volumes, traffic speeds, both triggers the need for a noise wall. So like on 137th, there was no road there before. So there's 2 different numbers. One of them is the amount of increase. So if it goes like 5 decibels higher in noise, or there's a threshold of, I don't do noise analysis. I think it's like 75 decibels is like the cutoff. So there's 2 different triggers. So the second one would be if you do trigger the analysis, then you look at it and whenever there's breaks in the sound walls, they lose their functionality and their feasibility. So you do a kind of a whole analysis process. When you have so many side streets, it breaks it up, where you can't have long continuous runs.
You're not adding any lanes of traffic,
No.
obviously, as part of this project. Okay. Any more questions?
I do have a follow-up question.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you the mic so everyone can hear.
I know that several of the neighbors along 150th Street, which we just talked about, have real concerns about the traffic and the speed because it is currently a problem before this construction began. I know that's been said before, but it is a serious problem. A lot of the neighbors have put out their own go slow signs because people come through our neighborhood at the same speed they're going down 152nd and 99. And I'm wanting to know, who could we contact? Because I understand you're going to be doing studies and you're going to be monitoring it, but we live on it 24/7. And how can we get feedback to you if the strategies to keep traffic off of that road aren't working? Can we get a fairly immediate response and not have to wait months to have mitigation with speed and safety concerns? Because we don't only, we have an assisted living unit that housing that is on there as well. So we have disabled people on the street as well. And people with walkers, as well as children. And as I said, right now it's a current concern. I think several of us are very concerned about people trying to take shortcuts through there.
Okay, thank you. That's really good information. I think, we should get this customer service, I think that would qualify for, one of our customer service type requests. I think that falls in that category for looking at some additional mitigation or some, focused law enforcement review or something. What's that called? You want to talk, David? Sounds like 150th. That's
So, you're right. So if you're experiencing those issues currently, the customer service line is the way to go. And it engages my team in looking at speed studies. Trevor on my team has had some speed studies done before. It was last year, or was it this year? Last year, okay. So, I mean, we may be due for an updated speed study on 150. Please contact our customer service line. That engages my team. We'll go out and take a look at it again. If that requires us going out and doing speed studies, then we'll do that. But during the project, you were suggesting that can you have immediate response rather than waiting months? Customer service line, it is weeks because you've got customer service calls every day that we're trying to deal with. But if it's during the project, if there's you want to contact the people associated with the project. In this case, I believe it's Sarah. So if there's an issue that you're seeing with regard to maybe speeding or something like that, let her know. She can engage me and we'll engage the team. So we can try and help out and cut the response time down significantly. So, but if you're experiencing that right now before the project, engage with customer service line.
Thank you very much. I don't know that we have any other questions.
Tell us what that phone number would be, or we'll find it in customer service form.
We have a business card with all that information on it out in our van. I'm gonna run and go get them.
Okay.
And then I'll put them on that back table by the door.
Thank you, Kaylee. Yes. Do call me during the project if you have questions. That's the general, not even a phone number. Well, sorry, and you know what? I get my phone number.
All that information will be on that card.
My phone number's on the project website, and it's definitely also on this slide here.
Business cards are also on this table by the door.
There we go. Write that down. I will route your call or call you back. And call you back. Okay, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate all the input. It's very valuable for us as a team.
Thank you.
Please take some cookies on your way out.
Please take some cookies on your way out.
Yeah.